Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jyaudirayet Ashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 24, verse 58. Atha Nag Angre Stava Kirti Tirthayor Antarbahi Snana Vidhuta Papa Manam Bhuteshva Anukrusha Shushittava Shilinam Syat Sangamo Anugriha Esha Nashtava. Atha Anagrihe Stava Kirti Tirthayor Antarbahi Snana Vidhuta Papanam Bhutesha Nukrosha Shushatva Shilinam Syat Sangamo Anugriha Esha Nashtava. Atha, therefore, Anagaha Angrehe, of my Lord, whose lotus feet destroy all inauspiciousness. Tava, your Kirti, glorification. Tirthayoho, the holy Ganges water. Antaha, within, Bahi, and outside. Snana, taking bath. Vidhuta, washed. Papanam, contaminated state of mind. Bhuteshu, onto the ordinary living beings. Anukrosh, benediction or mercy. Shu Sattva, Susattva, completely in goodness. Shilinam, of those who possess such characteristics. Syat, let there be. Sangamaha, association. Anugriha, mercy. Esha, this. Naha, unto us, Tava, your. Translation by His Divine Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and the destroyer of all the contamination of sin. I therefore beg your Lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet and who are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees. Powered by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Ganges water is celebrated as being able to eradicate all kinds of sinful reactions. In other words, when a person takes his bath in the Ganges, he becomes freed from all life's contaminations. The Ganges water is celebrated in this way because it emanates from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, those who are directly in touch with the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who are absorbed in the chanting of His glories are freed from all material contamination. Such unalloyed devotees are able to show mercy to the common conditioned soul. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur has sung that the devotees of Lord Chaitanya are so powerful that each one of them can deliver a universe. In other words, it is the business of devotees to preach the glories of the Lord and deliver all conditioned souls to the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. Here the word Susattva means Shuddha Sattva, the transcendental stage beyond material goodness. By his exemplary prayers, Lord Shiva teaches us that our best course is to take shelter of Lord Vishnu and his Vaishnava devotees. So nice. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanjalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priyai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and the destroyer of all contamination of sin. I therefore beg your Lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet and who are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees. This is such a nice verse. What is the name of the chapter? And who is speaking to who?
Chanting song sung by Lord Shiva. He's speaking to Prachitas.
Song sung by Lord Shiva.
Yes, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is teaching Prachetas. So what have we been discussing from verse 54 to 59?
Glories of association of devotees. About the reality of Bhakti Yoga.
Rarity. How rare it is.
How rare
For
it
someone
is.
to become a devotee of Krishna. Very nice. Thank you. So Lord Shiva has been glorifying the devotional service to Krishna in many, many ways. What do you remember so far? How has he glorified the bhakti as the topmost? What do you remember so far?
Of all the ways, Bhakti devotional service is described as topmost.
Yes. What are the other ways that you're very nice, Mataji? What are the other ways that Lord Shiva is
Jnani, Karmi, Yogi. Of all
Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga,
Karma Yoga.
Very nice. So Bhakti Yoga is the topmost, right? We totally agree with that. So how do you now prove it that Bhakti Yoga is the topmost? Like, what's your understanding? Yes, everyone. Tomorrow Guru Maharaj is going to give class, so you have to say something. What's your understanding that Bhakti Yoga is indeed the topmost?
Hearing is the topmost. Hearing is the topmost process of devotional service. Shabda Brahma, as we read, yes. And understanding the tattva before entering the practicing the Bhakti Yoga.
Before entering the Leela. Yeah. Tattva before Leela. Tattva means truth. Very nice. So if I don't understand the truth, then I don't enter into the Leela. If I only understand the Brahman concept, then I understand the Brahma Jyoti. If I understand the Bhagwan concept, then I enter the Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan. Very nice. What else?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes,
For bhakti, there is no any prerequisite requires. Plus, it can be achieved from womb to up to tone. So we can any stage we can, yeah.
Very nice. Yes, that was like Swami Bhagwan Keshava Swami Maharaj's class, that 5 hours of an investment. He was teaching us if we plan to invest in something, then we have to go through the 5 hours. And then he established how Krishna consciousness is fulfilling all those investment criteria. So it's a good investment for anyone, anywhere in the entire creation. Okay, what else? What did you study with Franchitana Prabhu yesterday? What did you study?
Is association even by chance or for a fraction of second will change, and unless there is a mercy of a devotee, one cannot initiate with the devotional services. So the association of devotee is very important, and one must always respect and honor all the devotees that he is associated with.
Very nice. So Kevalam, and one Mataji was saying about Kevalam. What did you discuss about Kevalam?
It's mean the Jnani is only.
So Kevalya Narkaite. So Kevalya Sukh is Narak, like hellish. Like what impersonalists are seeking for a Kevalya Sukh, right? Merging into the Brahma Jyoti, but a devotee of Krishna finds it hellish. Now, this particular verse can be called as like the crown of all verses, because this particular verse is actually telling us how to fructify that bhakti from the stage of seed to a stage of seedling by associating. Okay, by associating with someone who is associating with the lotus feet of Lord. Okay, Prabhupada writes, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and destroyer of all contamination of sin. I therefore beg your lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees, who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet and who are so merciful upon the conditioned soul. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees. So basically, a devotee is not keen to worship Krishna's lotus feet all by themselves, to go through a pure devotee. Devamrita Maharaj, I remember there is one devotee of a disciple of Devamrita Maharaj in Gita Nagari. His name is Kal Swarup Das. He's a genius. He's like Albert Einstein kind of a brain. So he was taking class one time, and he said he asked his guru, what is the most perfect way to understand Krishna consciousness? And, he's like a scientist. So what is the most perfect way? So he said, Devamrita Maharaj answered that, get hold of a devotee who is holding on to a devotee, who is in turn holding on to a devotee, who is in turn holding on to the lotus feet of the Lord. So they're basically Gopi, Bhatya, Padakamalo, Das, Anu, Das, the 3 generation. Basically, get someone who is holding on to the pure, who is holding on to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the way to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through the devotees. We cannot do it alone. And I think we read this in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 1, Characteristics of Pure Devotional Service, where Rupa Goswami Prabhupada is also saying that. Remember, we were discussing Sudurlabha. What were the points that we discussed? It's very, very rare. Bhakti is very, very rare. And what was Rupa Goswami Prabhupada saying in that particular aspect of or characteristic of pure devotional service? Sudurlabha. That one cannot have pure devotional service
Very
by
easily.
what? What did he say? Cannot have it by becoming
You
a very
cannot
big
do it
philosopher.
yourself. You can't purchase it.
Okay, so cannot do
Or
it alone, cannot become a devotee, or Krishna will not bestow a devotional service to a person who may be a very big philosopher or analyzer. Some people can very nicely analyze and display the philosophy, but they don't have bhakti in the heart. So Krishna is not going to give pure devotional service. Krishna is also not going to give pure devotional service to people who are doing pious activities. Piety is not a criteria to earn the pure devotional service. So very, very rare. So then what did Rupa Goswami Prabhupada and the Sudurlabha characteristic with? Then how do we get it? What was his verdict?
By the mercy of devotee.
Bhakti.
Seed
Very
is
nice.
always given by the mercy of a devotee.
Very nice. So with the mercy of a devotee. So this particular verse, one sannyasi, he gave a class on making it as a gratitude without an attitude. So one needs to have a gratitude without an attitude. So, or if one has to have an attitude, then the attitude also has to be in line with the gratitude. What happens in the material world? I was listening to Prabhupada when I was driving today. He was saying that these big scientists, when they discover something, let's say Prabhupada was talking about test tube baby in the lecture. And Prabhupada was saying that when they make an embryo in a laboratory, then they say, oh, we discovered such a nice life. We are now God. We don't need God because everything is solved. But then he said, a better scientist, the perfect scientist will be the scientist who will be doing all these experiments and proving the existence of God. Because they are, okay, mixing the chemicals, but the chemicals are supplied by God. Right? It's not that they have generated the chemicals. The Prabhupada was saying the secretions from the body of a male and a body of a female is given by Krishna. It's not done by any scientist. Then Prabhupada went on to explain the example of a earth, the scent on the earth. He said there is all kinds of fragrances in the earth. Krishna knows it. Krishna is such a perfect scientist that, okay, if there is a rose seed planted, then a rose flower comes out and the fragrance of rose is there. Same earth, you plant a jasmine seed, jasmine flower comes out, different fragrances there. So who is the scientist out there who knows how to get these different fragrances from the earth. They're there. That is why they're coming, right? No, so a good scientist is a scientist who is able to prove the presence of the law of God in everything that they're doing. So actually credit goes to God, because actually God is the one who's giving it. Basically, gratitude without attitude. And who teaches that? Who teaches that? Who teaches that sense of gratitude to Krishna? The devotees.
Pure
Pure
devotee.
caste
Pure
devotee.
devotee.
Guru
Anybody
Sahib.
who has had an experience of associating with the devotees will never be able to leave that. It's so sweet. Prabhupada describes Krishna consciousness and the association of devotees in first canto Srimad Bhagavatam. I think it is fifth chapter, verse number 18, the lecture. I might have to double check that, but Prabhupada describes that association as hot sugar juice. It's a sugar juice, so one can't give it up, but it's hot, so there's a little bit of a discomfort while drinking it. So when one comes to the devotee association, it's not that we are like completely pure from the beginning. No, but the devotees can teach each other. We help each other. And that is one of the 6 confidential exchanges, right? Revealing the mind, hearing the other person's mind. All these are happening in a very, very safe place in the association of devotees. Okay, so the bottom line for me is pray like this to Krishna. If I'm able to pray like this to Krishna, to Srila Prabhupada, that I think your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees. I have seen devotees doing so much for other devotees. Maybe like, so there are so many devotees who I saw leaving their body in Gita Nagari, and no matter what others are doing, no matter how busy everybody is, they all just come and gather and chant the holy name very, very loudly, day in and day out. We had Bali Maharaj Prabhu leaving his body last February, last year, 2022, and everybody was sitting around his bed. Devotees came from far away to take his darshan and to chant. So the environment was so surcharged. You can't even, doesn't even feel like that somebody is leaving the body. It's like, okay, Krishna will be like called down with that roaring kirtan that goes on. If you see Srila Prabhupada leaving his body, because Srila Prabhupada taught us, right, how to live and how to leave the body or embrace the death. So this is how, if one is so fortunate, that is why building a community of devotees is so important. We can't do it alone. If we are not convinced, then we have to go back and get ourselves convinced, because there is no other way. Okay, you can get the problem solved or test it. Go live with the devotees for some time. Take out some time from life. Go and live with them, and then see that how your heart transforms and how you would want to come back again and again and again. And sometimes some people just want to come and join. Right, in ISKCON in Mangalore, so many devotees joined the temple. Prabhu was telling me there's some teachers like Gaurav Goyal Prabhu, he was telling me about. Is he a Hindi teacher?
Yes,
Gaurav
yes,
Goyal
yes,
Prabhu?
Mataji.
Yes,
Gaurav Goyal,
yes.
now he's there, staying there only.
So Ramanshra was telling me about Prabhu, Gaurav Goyal Prabhu, that how he joined the temple by attending the classes online, and he just wants to join. Like that, there's so many who come. We all are basically brought to Krishna consciousness by a devotee. Is there anyone in this class who has not been brought by a devotee? Anybody?
No, Mataji.
So,
We only followed Namnishtadas Prabhuji, and then
So-
we came
right?
here.
Like somebody said, okay, just go and check it out. So important they are. They're so important in our life, devotees. So if we can pray like this to Krishna, please give me, I think your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees who are very purified by worshipping your lotus feet. And then all the contaminations will be washed away by itself. We don't have to go and, clean the heart. We don't have to go and do the harder job. The only job is just find the association and stay with the association. and grow with the association. Any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections?
Mataji, as you told Mr. Goyal, actually, he was working in Dubai only. So he maybe around 1 year he worked here, and after that he leave the job and now stationed there only. He decided to stay
In
there.
Bangalore, yes,
Yeah.
he's so convinced. Some devotees are so
Yeah.
fortunate.
Yeah.
Nice.
So nice. Yeah, Prabhu was praising him. Of course, Prabhu praises everyone, but he was just saying that. So important.
He is actually helping develop the community.
Community,
local
yeah.
Community
in
also.
the temple.
Very nice.
So nice. So nice. We should all do it. You know, this feeling that it is my temple. Who was saying this? I heard Kritu Das Prabhu. Yeah, Kritu Das Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple. He had come to our community in April. Yeah, in April. He was saying this feeling that this is my temple. I belong to this temple. He said this emotion can actually change or convert the sand into gold, because we'll be like so pulled by this. This is my temple. I have to do something, right? And this is how the deities bestow their glance upon this person. Who is this person who's trying to do something for me? Right? Prabhupada said, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said, don't try to